And we are live. Yes, we have stories. We have stories from around the world. And I have my co host here, Jensen, who's. We got a number of stories you're going to have to answer for. Okay? And what I mean by that is, well, first of all, folks, and I do apologize, I have too many stories. I'll be perfectly frank here, and blame Jensen. He's the one who kept adding to the story list.
I did, but in all fairness, the two stories I've got are fascinating. I mean, truly fascinating.
Yeah, but those are not the only stories you're going to have to answer for. Okay.
I know. I am not answering for that last story. That's what I'm going to say.
No, but there's other stories that you didn't add to this that you need to. You're going to be talking about. Let's get started though. Let's jump right on in. Let's jump right on in. And now remember, this is irreverent, folks. So it's not that I don't feel for the people or anything. All right, because some of these stories are, they're pretty sad. They're pretty tragic, and they are. But there's just too much stupidity in the world, folks. Okay, starting across the way on the other side of the world, as a matter of fact, right from the United States, Sri Lanka. Right now, Sri Lanka is down there, south of India, right? So
Back in the day, it was called Ceylon.
okay, yeah, it's a long ways away. All right, they've had now. Just so people understand, there's been a civil war that raged in that country for years. And the show Blood Diamonds is basically based on what was going on down there. Just to know, right? Now, a protest in a small Sri Lankan town that quickly turned deadly. Oh, what's irreverent about this so far? Oh, nothing, don't worry. Rambukana, Sri Lanka, when K.D. Langshan, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this other name because Jensen was busy pissing himself when I initially did
Oh,
it.
God, yeah.
Right? Was
Oh, you did come up with a good one, though, didn't you? Come on.
right? Was wheeled into a Kegel teaching hospital in central Sri Lanka around 6 p.m. on Tuesday. The father of two, which is unfortunate, was fighting for his life. Hours earlier, the 31-year-old had been waiting outside a filling station in the nearby town of Rambukana when people angered by long queues for petrol clashed with police. Now, Jensen, maybe I'm wrong here, right? But if you beat a policeman, gasoline comes out? Is that how this works?
Did you not realise that the police over in Sri Lanka are actually cyborgs and they've got internal combustion engines? So, yes. I mean, well, that's what Shirati told me. She was talking about her fellow cyborgs over there.
I
Anyway.
mean, I'm trying to understand I mean, I realize that you're waiting in line, which is a pain in the ass, but all right, why were you clashing with the police? What, did the police walk in there and go, you're not stealing my gas? I mean, I'm just trying to understand what the clash was.
Really, that might have been the case. All jokes aside,
It might have
that
been.
may well.
I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe the police were cutting in the queue. I mean, that's a possibility. I'm just trying to understand why you're fighting with the police, waiting for gasoline, right? That's just what it is. But aside from that, Langshan was likely hit by live ammunition, which police said they used to scatter the demonstrators. Okay, did you know that non-live ammunition is deadly? What kind of ammunition is gonna...
Evidently, these guys have some sort of zombie ammunition, and they're only just admitting it. It's good to know, and it's rather scary. Actually, zombie ammo would be kind of cool. Just saying.
We weren't going to use the zombie ammo, so we used the live ammo. I mean, who wrote this? What? Who wrote this story?
Yeah.
All right, Gashal, I'm sure that your native language isn't English, but tell your editors to do their jobs, dude. Because that's just bad.
Yeah.
All right, nothing against anybody, but Reuters. I mean, you're a British network. Apparently they're skimping on editing, folks.
Yeah.
Live ammunition, huh?
Hey, this is an American thing. You guys deal with the live
Reuters
ammunition.
is a British organization. You can't put blame on that for that one. The shortage is causing frustration. Yeah. People have lined up overnight to get petrol. But there was none. Well, okay. So there weren't any people are mad because there's no gas at the gas station. All right. So you go out there and attack the policeman? Like I said, you think they got gas?
In all fairness, like I said, I'm going to assume that the coppers were trying to push people around and maybe push their way in. It's the only logical reason, it really is. God damn it, copper! My gas! Bang!
Anyway, on to the next story, Jensen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Care to comment on this? Russia broadcast video of captured Britons by urging Boris Johnson to negotiate the release.
Yeah.
Vlad, nothing against the dude, but showing pictures of captured Britons and saying, look who we've got, you'd better come talk to us, isn't a way to start international negotiations. It doesn't work this way.
Well, technically, isn't he actually breaching... yes, I do know they didn't sign it. But isn't he actually breaching the rules of combat? You're not actually allowed to show the prisoners you capture.
No, that's not true.
Ah.
Okay, you can't use them for propaganda purposes. There's nothing wrong with you showing the prisoners that have been captured. Okay.
Okay.
But as long as you're not including, statements of them, we're sorry, we didn't mean to freaking shoot people. All the Russians are good people. As long as you're not using them for that kind of purposes. Is it okay? Would you stop beating me? I'll tell you what I want. You want to know. As long as you're not doing that on video. Okay. As long as you're not using it as an exploitation type of thing, then yes, showing captured prisoners is not against the Geneva Convention. Right? Now, I think Boris is probably... First of all, Boris... Why does Vlad think Boris gives a shit about a bunch of people, all right, who go, oh, look, I'm going to run over there and help the Ukrainians. It'll be just like Halo 3. All right? Now, I realize not all the people over there, some of the people that went there are ex-military and are serious about this, right? And former military. But let's be honest, the majority of these idiots that are going over there are TikTok wannabes, all right, that want to sit up there and go out there and talk about how great they are, right? Look, I did something. Yeah. They wanted to feel important, right? With no training or anything else. And so, let's be honest, what are the Ukrainians doing with them? Hey.
Bullet sponges.
That's exactly what they are. The Ukrainians are like, well, Dmitry, do you think there's some Russians over there? I don't know. Hey, Charles!
Yeah.
You don't mind walking over there, do you? That. Yeah, I guess so.
Yep. Oh, dear. You're not wrong, though. That's the problem. That is... Well, if that... Okay, this is going to sound horrible, but if they had any sense, that is how they'd be using most of these morons.
Hey, Johnny. Charlie over there is kind of injured. You want to go get him?
No, they still got ammo, boss. Try harder. Send some more. Mm-hmm.
Russian state television, all right, broadcast a video monitoring what it describes as Britons captured fighting for the Ukrainians, demanding Prime Minister Boris Johnson negotiate their release. Now, Boris Johnson is probably going, who?
Yeah.
I don't have time for this. I still got to explain why I was partying. My party is far more important to me than British people captured by the Russians. And I guarantee you that's the truth, folks. I know it sounds harsh.
Actually, you say this, all right, but he might actually throw himself all at this and try and talk them out of the situation they're in as a way of avoiding the people's reactions to his Partygate, as they're terming it. This literally might just be used as a way to make him look good because, Boris got our boys back, and bring our boys back is kind of a thing for the English, let's be honest.
The two haggard-looking men identified as British nationals, Sean Piner and Aidan Aslan. You might have just said Chad and Todd.
Yep. Whoa, I see what's going on. He's kidnapped them because they want to get that Victor Medvedchuk back. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, but if
now that makes more sense.
But if Victor Medvedchuk gets sent back, that'll be the last anybody sees of Victor.
That's what I thought.
I guarantee you. Vlad is like, yeah, we'll go toast these people back.
Well,
Victor, welcome. Where's the money?
Yeah,
that's exactly what that is.
I'm going to say is I know you've got stories about it for later, but it's not like Britain's known for its, being any good at keeping people that are prisoners anywhere. It's not like we ever do that at all now, is it?
No, not at all. Okay, let's go on to the next story from Vladville. All right, Ukraine to evacuate 6,000 out of Mariupol, says the mayor. Ukraine hopes to evacuate. How many times have they been trying to evacuate Mariupol?
I'm sorry to say it's getting boring. It's, they've tried so often. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
10,000 leave, 15,000 leave, 15,000 are bombed. I mean, nothing against anybody, right? Mayor Vladimir Bochenko, who has left Mariupol, all right, said 90 buses were waiting to head to the devastated southern port of the city. He cautioned that an agreement was still only a preliminary agreement, all right, and that about 100,000 civilians remained there. Okay, Vlad has declared victory, by the way, for people who don't know this, in Mariupol, saying that they control the entire city. And with the exception of a small little, holdout groups and everything, they pretty much have. It's a mop-up operation now, all right? And I'm not saying a mop-up operation isn't dangerous and people aren't going to die. They're just going to kill more people. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right? Mariupol is an important step for them simply because they now control that entire southern eastern region, right, all the way to Crimea, which is the corridor that they want. And once they secure that, they can start the offloading processes, all right, for weapon systems and so forth, all right, to bring into the next fight, because their next goal is Odessa. Okay? It's Odessa, and if the Ukrainians, they are prepping for this, folks, if the Ukrainians still keep trying to fight rather than accept, what's happened already to them, and I'm not blaming the Ukrainians for this, don't misunderstand me, right? He's going to sit up there and start marching north and take the entire Dnepr region. That's what he's going to do. That's what Vlad's plans are, right? And now, how are you going to prevent that? Well, quite frankly, without a trained military and without a coordinated effort, you're not going to. Okay? They're just not. The Ukrainians are not going to be able to force their way out.
Yeah. Which means we're going to be hearing about, air quotes, atrocities occurring in there. And that's going to be all over the news.
More atrocities, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Atrocities are occurring on a daily basis over
there. True.
Then again, in Hyde Park, to talk about atrocities, man savagely beats a woman in 420 cannabis event as crowd watches and films. Now, marijuana is supposed to make a dude cold. I've never taken marijuana, so I was told that it's supposed to keep you calm and everything. So my question, My first question is what kind of cannabis are you actually using over there in Britain?
Yeah, well, one, actually, some of the stuff we've got over here, it's not necessarily that unreasonable. But you make sure you do a description of the guy as given in the news story. I think people need to know what he was wearing sort of around his face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Annual cannabis smoking event at 420 ended in chaos Wednesday night, all right, with multiple arrests and a video emerged of two savage fights, one of which showed a man savagely beating a woman on the ground next to another brawling couple. Police made 10 arrests as revelers spilled onto Oxford Street, all right, with a line of police and dogs clashing with protesters. Now, how's the dog clashing with the protester? Now, see, if you've got dogs and you're going to clash with protesters, you don't have dogs clashing with the protesters. You have the dogs released upon them. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. Right?
Yep.
They'll stop. Let me tell you, the protesters will stop clashing with the dogs and the police pre-DQ. All right?
It's actually very, very true.
Right? When Cujo wants some blood and Crippler along with Killer right next to them, all right? The name of the Belgian Shepherds, because we're not going to use Germans.
No.
And you'll notice the French Poodle was not a part of this.
Of course not.
Just put it out there.
The thing to remember is, okay, if we'd have actually done that, you'd have basically had a whole bunch of police dogs who would have been eating hippies. Now, that would have kept you happy as all hell for at least a week now, wouldn't it?
All right. Hey, Rin. Yeah, Rin Tin Tin. All right, anyway. The cannabis legislation protest, all right, was attended by thousands of people who went to central London to get high. Okay, it's not a legislation protest if you're just going into some place to get high. That sounds like a party.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Police provided amnesty bins to dispose of the illegal Class B.
One, the bins wouldn't have been used. Two, if they were used, I guarantee that the contents of those bins were being taken away by the police, bagged up and sold on.
Well,
okay?
That's what I'm trying to say, is the bins themselves were one of the supply depots?
Yeah.
These are supply depots. The police are going, here you go, here's the weed.
Oh, that would have been awesome, though, wouldn't it, if they actually did that?
But it gets better. I know people are like, what? The largely peaceful event. Well, Maripole's largely peaceful now. What is this term? How many, ever since the rioting in the U.S., everything's become largely peaceful.
Yeah. Disturbing, isn't it?
Oh, my God. Grappling on the floor, a man in a ski mask, all right, threw multiple punches at a woman's face while holding her hair before a young woman pulled him away. Do you have men in Britain anymore? Or, just asking, is Chad or Todd? I mean,
No. We have Bruce and Roger. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, Bruce sounds like an Australian name. I mean, did you do something with Bruce? Is that how you take care of a lot of your Aussies? You get them high on weed and they just don't give a shit about anything?
Come on, you know if it was yours, you give them half a dozen beers and they're fine.
Well, yeah, but if you
They'd be happy as all hell.
If the Aussies were around in a crowd like this, it wouldn't have been dozens of people arrested. It would have been 15 or 20 people in the hospital and 2 or 3 in the morgue.
Yes.
Okay, let's be honest.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Right? Police told My London that they were not aware of any arrests connected with the brawl. Then,
Yeah.
who are you arresting? he. Hey man, isn't there anything left in the bin? Get him!
Yep. Oh. It's horrifying. The reason I actually brought that to your attention, though, is the people didn't even get involved. They just stood around laughing and taping it. That is actually what really actually irritates the living hell out of me. Okay, I'm of the mindset that people should have seen the guy go mental, and he got at this point he should have had a weed bin around the back of his head. Shut up! Stop being an idiot. And he carried on. The guy's left on the floor going, "What just hit me?"
Yeah, there was a time frame, right, when people with the name of Colin or Arthur, right, would have beat the holy hell out of this guy, and then came back and said, "Did you see the little tete-a-tete that we had to deal with today?" Right?
Yeah.
There was a time frame. All right.
We have all become pussified. I'm sorry, but
can you
we
imagine
have.
what would have happened? All right, if this had taken place in Winston Churchill had bothered to come by.
There would have been a whooping.
You can see Winston just beating the holy hell out of these guys with a cane.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy would have got lippy and he'd been cracked round back of the head by the silver-tipped cane, and no one would have said a word against it. It would have been a case of, he deserved it, it was stupid.
I guarantee you that woman probably would have loved to have had Tommy Robinson nearby when this took place. Just put it out there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's continue. UK court formally issues an order to extradite Julian Assange to the US.
Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me.
How many court orders to extradite this guy need to take place before you actually actually extradite him?
Actually, I can tell you that one. It needs one more. Okay, granted, it needs one more. 50 down the line, but it just needs one more.
The decision now rests with Interior Minister Priti Patel, although Julian Assange's lawyers may still appeal. Look, I think I've been very clear with my disdain for one Julian Assange. I don't think of him as a hero, all right? I do think of him that as a criminal. I don't believe that he is trying to do what's best for the world. I think what he's trying to do is what's best for Marxism and his worldview. Mm-hmm. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else, all right? That's my personal view of Julian Assange, and it's never going to change, okay? And it's not going to change because who he targets. Do you see him targeting Vlad? Do you see him targeting Xi Jinping? No. You see him targeting the West, though.
Let's be fair, if he targeted Vlad or Xi Jinping, the next thing you'd hear is about him getting grabbed and suffocating on some sort of biotoxin. You know it and I know it, because it's not like it hasn't happened before, you know?
Then why is he... Okay, but isn't that what he's afraid of coming to the U.S.? Isn't that what he stated his fear was of coming to the U.S.?
Yeah.
That they were, so if you're... Right? Now, with all that said, you guys nabbed him in what, 2019?
Yeah.
3.5 years ago?
Yeah.
And he's still in jail, right?
Yeah.
He's still in solitary confinement?
They're concerned because he's obviously a dangerous prisoner. Yeah, that sounds good. That's probably the excuse they actually use, and you know it.
I'm just... Okay, I mean, hasn't he already served his sentence at this point? If I was in charge of the U.S., I would just drop this case. Not because I think he hasn't done anything wrong, because I'd like to see him in the U.S. jail, right? But by this time, he's basically served his sentence, all right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest, because you know he's not having a good time at Belmarsh prison. Right.
You would think not. No, I agree.
Right. So, you know, I mean, it wasn't like the Ecuadorian embassy where he was living the high life. And before somebody killed him, he was in there for 7 years. Well, okay, but he was living the high life. He fathered 2 kids.
Yeah.
While he was supposedly in the Ecuadorian prison. All right. And I know what people are saying. What? No, Mad. There's people in New Jersey prison right now that are fathering children in the women's prisons. From the transsexuals. I know you guys have seen those stories. By the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
hence the thumbnail for today's show. but just putting it out there.
It's progressive. Just remember that.
Yeah, speaking of progressives, Shawnee State pay professor $400,000 in settlement over students' preferred pronouns.
I love this.
The Shawnee State University will pay a professor $400,000 in damages and attorney fees, all right, to settle a lawsuit over not using a student's preferred pronoun. He didn't call me miss. He didn't call me her. He said you, and he said he, and he said him, and I was damaged. Okay, professor, you need to do this. No, the guy's got a beard and a dick. What do you want? You know that's what took place.
Oh, yeah.
Let me phrase it. That would have taken place if I was the university professor.
Yeah.
That's how I would have approached it.
I take it you read through this. Did you see the excuse he was using, how it went against his First Amendment right? I love it. That's outstanding.
It was against his First Amendment right. And it said he was given written warning that he could be fired or suspended without pay for violating the university's non-discriminatory. You're not being discriminatory when you say, hey, dude, you got a dick. I don't care if you think your name is Mary. Okay? All right, and Linda over there, he's got a dick too. Okay? Just put it out there. If you want to be using your preferred pronouns, there's a women's prison in Jersey that I know you could use.
Surely, Matt's come up with a cool idea. Catapult the student into the sea. Yes, but I want to actually put an addition. Tie a rope round his nuts first. That way you're doing two things at once. Now you're a woman. Stop complaining.
Well, it's true. Manhattan DA's star witness. Now, I want you to think of this, folks. This is from the Daily Beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Manhattan's, let's put it, the New York DA's star witness, or who gives an ultimatum to the DA: indict Trump now, or I'm out. Out of what? All right, now this, for those who don't, it's time for the Wayback Machine. Remember when Michael Cohen had all the dirt on Trump and he was going to get Trump, back in, what was it, 2017? Half a decade ago?
Yeah.
I'm just putting this out here, folks. Michael Cohen, the New York lawyer, all right, Trump used for years as his family company's trusted consigliere, all right, told the Daily Beast he has already wasted too much of his time on a case that slowly and then suddenly doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Because you have no evidence of anything.
Yep.
And we know you're a lying sack of shit, dumbass. If your star witness is all right, if your star witness is a criminal, all right, who's pissed off because he didn't get a pardon from Trump, all right, because he was freaking engaging in all sorts of illegal tax evasion schemes and monetary schemes, to come back in and try and say, well, I'm a star witness. No, he's not a star witness. He's a criminal, right? Yep. A star witness is not a criminal generally, right? Or they actually have evidence. The evidence where he said he had it all on tape?
Yeah, well, that one.
Right? Does everybody remember that? That he had all this supposed tape confessions from Trump back when he was nabbed? And for some reason, the New York attorneys and everything wouldn't cut a deal with him, all right? When he was saying, I'll make a deal with you guys if you don't put me in prison. They put him in prison anyway. Now, they let him out they let him out right away for COVID, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
You see how desperate they are. We gotta get Trump. You have nothing there. Okay, you guys have been crawling through his freaking. You guys make false claims, all right, on a constant basis, all right, about what you're going to do for Trump. We're going to get him. We're going to get him.
Impress me. Ow. Mm-hmm.
It impresses me that Trump is that clean. I'll be honest with you.
Now, be clean. I just say he's really good at hiding it. Okay.
Let me put it this way: he's more of a master of hiding it than any person on the planet. Then, and
true.
And with all due respect, Trump. I've never thought of Trump as as stupid, but he's not a Mensa candidate either.
No,
okay.
That's fair.
So, speaking of supposed Mensa candidates, Obama is to leave Spotify, seek multi-million-dollar deal elsewhere. You mean your grift is over for Spotify? You mean Spotify has realized, gee, we got Joe Rogan and we got Obama. Which one's giving us money and views? It's not Obama? Cut. That's what happened. All right? The Obamas are not leaving Spotify on their own. Spotify just said, nah, we're done. All right, when your contract ends, we're not renewing it. This is not a surprise. I'm sure they'll be heading over to Netflix. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Let's not mention the problem with Netflix and its trading on the stock exchange. It didn't go well.
Well, I'll be honest with you. They weren't doing overly poorly, all right, until Elon Musk tweeted.
Yeah.
The day Elon Musk did a tweet, down 30%. Your stock dropped in a single day 35% because Elon Musk said, basically referring to Netflix, go broke, bye.
Yep. That should actually scare the living hell out of Twitter. It's probably why he did it. If he's got that much power that he can do that, then Twitter might really want to seriously think about what he's doing before he screws them.
We'll be talking about Elon Musk later today.
Oh, yes. I still support him.
Back to college. Back to colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Utah's Westminster Colleges offers porn class where students will watch pornographic films together.
And in 9 months' time, there's going to be the greatest bunch of pregnant girls in that school that you can ever imagine.
They didn't tell you what kind of pornographic films they're watching.
Good point.
The private liberal arts college in Utah, all right, will offer an entire class on porn in the 2022-2023 academic year, and students will watch pornographic films together as part of the class. Westminster College will offer the class titled Film 3000 Porn.
Yeah.
Is the professor Ron Jeremy? I think he's in jail right now, isn't he? Ron Jeremy does college from a cell in California.
Horrifying, isn't it?
Through this entire thing, it doesn't tell you who the professor is.
I wonder why.
Oh my God! It states on its website, or Westminster College offers a class, all right, Film 3000 Porn, all right, and states on its website that hardcore pornography is more popular than Sunday Night Football.
That's not really saying much.
Hardcore pornography is American as apple pie and more popular than Sunday Night Football. Our approach to this billion-dollar industry is both a cultural phenomenon that reflects and reinforces sexual inequities. I thought what enforced sexual inequities was a ruler. I'm just putting it out there.
You make the statement about a ruler, but that might still be part of the porn. I'm just saying, okay? Oh my God! You know what's going to happen, don't you? That Kaepernick guy is going to demand parts in all of this. You watch. It does explain his hair. Let's be fair.
Oh my God, folks. You wonder what's going on? Why depravity is taking over the world? Here's an example.
Exhibit A.
All right. And for those who don't know anything about the nation, right? What do you know about Utah, Jensen?
The only thing I know about it was originally going to be called Deseret, and it's absolutely full to the living brim of Mormons. That's it. That's everything I now know.
Basically, yes, it is. It is 90% Mormon. And I'm not exaggerating this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it was founded as an enclave of by Mormons as a state, right? And they are, hyper religious about their religion. I don't have a problem with that per se, but then again, I'm surprised that the film isn't listed as Polygamy 101.
Oz has actually come up with it. Ready? So extra credit projects is bringing your own amateur videos. You know what? He might well be right with that.
That's not extra credit. That's part of the core curriculum.
Oh my God! Do you realise what show and tell could end up like? I don't need that image.
I can see it right now. I'm sorry, but you only get a C for this class. The tape measure just didn't measure up.
Well, Leroy over there had to send out for 2 extra tape measures just to read.
That's misogynist. That's misogynist. No, they have cup size for the women.
Yep. What are you talking about? The women are the ones with penises nowadays, thank you.
So measuring, when we talk about measuring inequities, well, we got simple standards.
Does that mean if they're double D's, it's double standards? Just wondering.
Not tied 101.
Ow!
Right, back across the pond. In a story that Jensen just had to find for me, and of course I have to include it.
Yeah. Okay.
It needed to be included. Dad given a 65-pound parking ticket by a council because the shadow of his car was in a disabled spot.
No, you're not misreading this, people. The shadow of his car.
A man was slapped with a 65-pound fine because his car's shadow was in a disabled parking spot. Matthew Cole received the ticket after leaving his vehicle outside the Blackheath post office, in Lewisham. Okay, in March. Mr. Cole, a self-employed gardener, said he was gobsmacked when he opened the letter in April, alleging he had parked illegally. But photos sent to him by the council show his silver Ford Estate car parked in an unmarked bay next to a signpost, signposted disabled spot. Only the shadow of his vehicle appears to be in the marked disabled bay.
Yeah. Stupid is what it is. I am actually horrified exactly how dumb this is. You know, if the trout warden had come back half hour later, it probably wouldn't have been in there because, oh look, the sun, shadows. Mm-hmm.
When I came out, you have to blame the sun, it turned. The worst, you can blame the earth for blame the earth. Where's the earth ticket for taking? I was perfectly fine. My shadow, my car wasn't bothering that parking spot at all until the earth turned.
Well, actually, I really suggest you rethink what you're doing because you'll probably find some of those Mormons probably try and put a ticket on the sun. Okay, I'm being serious. These people are truly that dumb.
But why did you elect them?
We didn't. We don't actually get a choice with our meter maids. They are part of the council. We have nothing to do with it. If you're going to say, why did you elect the people in the council? Dude, we have no control over the council
Are
elections.
you saying
People
that?
like to pretend we do, but we don't.
Are you saying that this is right up Cressida Dick's freaking operation here?
Do you know? Technically,
All right.
yes.
First of all, I'm going to make some comments that I have not made about Cressida Dick. All right. You
Mm-hmm.
see her in her uniform, and the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, it's a meter maid. All right.
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry, but this is not someone you look at and go. If you saw Margaret Thatcher, you'd be like, tough old broad. You see Cressida Dick, and you're like, yeah.
Yep. If I may, you know, man, Girardi, he did. The council turned around and said, "We don't care." He's fought it again, and they said, "We still don't care," and he's trying a third time. So it's stupid. It really is.
It's not the only thing that's stupid.
Don't know what you're talking about. It's not like you found some fascinating things to talk about.
Wedding spirals into chaos after a bride allegedly laced food with pot. Jeffrey Belmonte feasted on meatballs, Caesar salad, and bread with herb dip at his wife's cousin's wedding in Longwood, Florida. It's not a surprise this is Florida, all right? And
No.
then felt strange, tingly, fidgety. His sister-in-law also became dizzy and found herself on her hands and knees vomiting up the dinner. Miranda Katie, who knew the bride through friends, ate the bread and olive oil too. She later felt like her heart was going to stop. She went to her car and was so terrified that she would die there, she sent herself a text so that people would know what happened to her.
I can actually tell you exactly what happened there, mate. What she went through is what we actually call a whitey. It's one of the reactions to the weed. You do truly believe that you are going to die. You're not, but you really do feel like you are going to die. It's so funny. And it's hilarious to watch.
Those were the accounts of Dana and Andrew, or of
Yeah.
how do you say that?
Danya and Andrews, yeah.
Sabota's
There you go.
wedding guests told deputies after the February reception that their feelings of being stoned were later confirmed when they tested positive for marijuana. Investigator estimated that about 50 people attending the wedding reception. None of the guests interviewed said that they knew where the marijuana was in the food. Now Dana, all right, and the wedding caterer, Jocelyn Bryant, have been charged with food tampering and the delivery of marijuana, both felonies, as well as negligence, a misdemeanor. Folks, I know that the 420 was a thing. We just had it, right? I know everyone talks about this, and I'm going to say something that most people are not going to believe, right? All these stories that people put out there about how many people have constantly done marijuana, they're bullshit. There are a lot more people than people realize that, like myself, have never imbibed ever. I wouldn't know what to do. I'll be honest with you. I can see myself vomiting, and if I found out that it was weed in the food, I would be vomiting on the food intentionally. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
perfectly honest.
Yep.
I'm just putting it out there, folks.
I've got to say, okay, I actually don't think it was just weed. The description that they actually gave for how they were feeling, ooh, cat girls, the description they were feeling, the description they were feeling actually sounds like that was more than just weed. There was something else there. I'm just saying.
Cat girls is exactly the story. Elon Musk says he could make catgirl sex robots if he wanted to.
And should. Just saying.
Why do I think that if he took over Twitter, if he actually gets a hold of it, the first thing you're going to see are catgirls on every page? It's going to be an anime catgirl site.
Trust me, if he actually does that, I'm never leaving Twitter. Okay?
Where's Jesse? Still on Twitter. All right, SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, the future is teeming with humanoid robots. During a lengthy freewheeling conversation with TED's Chris Anderson last week, Musk expanded on his visions of what it could look like to share everyday life with autonomons, doing our bidding. And predictably, the conversation jumped directly to sexual implications of humanoid robots. Despite his busy personal schedule, Musk clearly does have some time to daydream. It's probably inevitable.
She only hates us because he is your automaton. I mean, they're literally just describing how things are. She just knows her place, mate. She knows her place. I'm so going to get my ass kicked for that.
Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, oh man, where the hell are you finding these stories? Don't worry, we're not done with the cat stories. Cops, cat used as weapon in domestic battery. In a total pissy move, a Florida woman allegedly battered her girlfriend with the couple's cat.
Oh, cat.
Police said Susan Freudenthal, all right, the 53 and the 44-year-old victim were arguing Wednesday over the fidelity issues in their shared Largo residence. During the squabble, Freudenthal swore that she was not cheating and was faithful to the victim, the cops reported. At one point, the victim said Freudenthal grabbed one of the couple's pets, a cat, and held it up to the victim's face.
Did you ever think you were going to need to use the term death by pussy? Just saying.
The cat, the cops say, was distressed and scratched the victim.
Good.
Oh, good? It's like trained attack pussy.
Exactly. I'm on cat side and you know it.
I mean, the cat should have just turned on everyone in this case.
Yes.
You know why she grabbed the cat?
Stop it from killing her?
No.
What?
the mess squirrel had jumped out the window. Anyway.
Yeah, that's possible.
Freudenthal, who has lived with the victim for 4 years, was arrested for allegedly punching her girlfriend in the mouth during a drunken argument about their relationship. Yeah.
I'm thinking that relationship's probably over. Just saying.
It wasn't after she hit her in the mouth. It was only after she sat there and threw the cat at her.
Oh my God, I've worked out who that woman was. She must be related to Trump. I seem to remember he liked grabbing the pussy at one point, didn't he? I shouldn't have said that.
He was saying that they let you grab him by the pussy.
And there's your proof, right there.
Oh my God. Okay, final story of the day, folks. And no, it doesn't get better.
No.
All right, folks. Now dude, this is a sick story.
Oh yeah.
I didn't invent this.
I should be serious now. This is a trigger warning, people, and it's actually, for once, a valid trigger warning.
4 men gang raped and killed and ate a protected monitor lizard. Forest officials in India are investigating 4 men who gang raped, killed, and cooked and ate a monitor lizard in one of India's most protected forest reserves. It was the only monitor lizard in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? Was this a 420 event that we didn't know about? I'm just trying to find out what's going on.
No, but I actually know what they should do. They should get those 4 guys, strip them naked, and then put them in a room with another lizard so as they can do that. You're thinking, oh my god, what are you talking about? Komodo dragon. Go on, impress me.
The incident took place on March 29th, all right, at the Sahradari Tiger Reserve.
Or put them in with tigers. I'm cool with that.
Right, in the western Indian state of Masharata. I'm not trying to butcher it intentionally. I just don't know how to say that. The forest camera traps meant for tracking tigers caught the accused men trespassing on the reserve's Chandoli National Park. Forest officials arrested the men between April 1st and 5th and found photos and videos on their phones of them gang raping a monitor lizard, then killing it and eating it. Now, it's bad enough. You're already a depraved group of psychopaths.
Yeah.
Why would you film yourselves doing this?
The only way they could get a woman, obviously.
Is that how it works? You want to see me taking somebody down? They can look at me.
Yeah,
I'm sodomizing.
that's the worst part.
Does this
That's
get
the
you
worst
hot?
part. I'll tell you one thing. It makes that school that's doing pornography for kids a really interesting concept all of a sudden, doesn't it?
I've never seen a crime like this before, the division forest officer Vashal Mali told Vice World News. The men were in their 20s and 30s. They appear to have done it for fun. Okay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no religious or black magic agenda. So this guy, the forest reserve is like, yeah, everything would have been fine. I mean, if they were doing it for the right reasons.
Adds a lot, doesn't it?
Oh my god.
I'm telling you, Komodo dragon deals with the problem quickly. I agree, Oz, exterminatus, mate. They deserve it.
You know, I would, I would go to the prison and say, "Look, guys, we got to transfer you to New Delhi because your trial is going to be in New Delhi." And you put them in the helicopter, and when you land the helicopter, and they ask where the prisoners are, they saw an eagle they wanted to rape in the flight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Disgusting, these people are absolutely vile.
What?
Of course, there is one question we really need to ask ourselves. How are they going to actually turn this to Trump did it? That's the question.
It's whatever it is. All right, folks, that's all I got for the day. I hope that you enjoyed the show. In the sick, depraved, irreverent look at the news. Hope that you all have a good day, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye, everybody.